Good evening. I'm Mrs. Bolin, and I'm helping you prepare for your first college algebra exam. I'm on problem 12. I accidentally did number 13 and called it 12 a moment ago, so when you get to number 13, you'll see that I goofed on that a little bit. So, the sum of three consecutive integers is 426. Find the integers. Okay, so that's our question here. So it says the sum. Oops, well, that wasn't so good. Let's see if I can get back to highlighter, which is what I was trying to get. The sum of three consecutive integers is 426. Find the integers. So that means we have three different numbers. So we're going to say we're going to let x denote an integer. We're going to let y denote an integer, and we're going to let z denote an integer. Okay, so we have three consecutive integers, and then we know that the sum of those three has to be 426. So that means x plus y plus z is equal to 426. Now we know one more thing. We know when it says that they're consecutive, and if I have x as an integer, that means that y must equal x plus, plus 1, okay, because they're consecutive. And that means that z is equal to y plus 1, because we're going to take whatever y is and we're going to add 1 to it. Well, notice that y is equal to x plus 1, right? So you'll see right here that z is equal to y plus 1, y is equal to x plus 1 right here. So now we can substitute in x plus 1 for y. In which case, we end up with there we go. We end up with y, which is equal to x plus 1, plus 1. So that is equal to x plus 2. And that makes perfect sense because we have x, and then x plus 1 is the next consecutive integer, and then x plus 2 is going to be the next integer. So now we can go ahead and we can substitute in for y right here, and we can substitute in for, so now we can substitute in for y right here, and we can substitute in for z right there. Okay, so z is going to be x plus 2 and y is going to be x plus 1. So let's substitute all of those values or those other equations in. So we have x plus y is x plus 1, plus z, and z is x plus 2, and that has to equal 426. Now we're going to combine like terms. So we have x plus x plus x. So we end up with 3x. And we have 1 plus 2. So that's plus 3 is equal to 426. So now we'll bring over our 3. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So we end up with 3x is equal to 426 minus 3 is 423. We'll divide both sides through by 3, and we get therefore x is equal to, let me turn on my calculator and double check this. X is equal then to 141. Okay, 423 divided by 3 is equal to 141. That tells us what x is. So now we need to go back and we need to solve for what is y. Y we said is equal to x plus 1. So that's 141 plus 1, which equals 142. Now z is equal to x plus 2. Again, x is equal to 141. So that is 141 plus 2. So that is equal to 143. So our three consecutive numbers are 141, 142, and 143. Now let's go ahead and check our work. So we're going to do a check, and our check would be, is 141 plus 142 plus 143, does that equal 426? That's the question. Okay, so now if we take 141, I'm going to double check my math real quick. I don't want to assume that I got anything just perfect. 141 plus 142 plus 143 is equal to 426. So that means that 426, those three digits added together, equals 426. So we check out properly. And so we know that our correct answer is, for our three consecutive numbers that sum to 426, the digits have to be, or the numbers have to be 141, 142, and 143. Let me know if you have any questions.